Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to share another one of my clients with you, Wendy. Wendy, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, how are you? My name is Wendy. I live in Pennsylvania. I have two girls. I'm married and just enjoying my journey with Amanda and what the next steps are. It's so exciting.
It is pretty exciting, actually. So tell everybody, how did you find me and what kind of led you after finding me to kind of reach out for help?
Um, so I was scrolling through like Facebook, just like, a normal day. And I have to say, I do admit that I had a yearning for something different and not quite sure I was being what I was looking for, honestly. And I kept searching, going for it, and it not coming to anything of meaning or difference to me or what have you. So I just kept going and going. And then I came across Amanda's Facebook. And that's where I stopped. And you know how you look in Facebook and you kind of read one or two sentences and you're like, scroll, keep going, keep going. I just kept being curious and interested and reading more. And it kind of grabbed me to like all these different things that were just kind of speaking to me. And that was the difference of me owing it to myself to be curious even more.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And so you went through the Empowered Challenge. I believe that was back in April. Right?
Yes.
Yes,
When I,
yes, back in April.
mhm.
And then sign up for a discovery call with me. How was that? Let's just take a moment because I think some people get nervous about even just having a phone call.
Mhm.
How was that phone call with me?
Oh my God, it's like talking to a friend. It's so easy. I think the discovery call allowed me to take that first step in just being believing that I'm worth a phone call. Hello, of course. And because if you don't take that step, you're never gonna know. And in the groups, you have different people, and that's great. But the individual conversation makes you realize that number one, you're not alone. She can answer your questions, and um, I think the biggest thing is that I was not feeling any kind of connection ever. And that was like the first time that I felt like heard.
Mm,
And it's not even about food and all that kind of stuff, just heard about
yeah,
struggle, about, this frustration in my life that I could never fix for over like pretty much 40 years. So yeah, so that first call it solidified it for me.
yeah, I love that. Um, so you decided to sign up for the Reclaimed group coaching.
Hmm.
Tell everybody a little bit about your experience in the group. Uh, tell them like what it was to be in a group and what it was like to work with me.
So I'd say first and foremost, it's all coming from a good place. So when you're with other people, women and even some men or what have you, but your belief system is not on, that you can do it and you believe in, a higher power and self-love and all of that, that's a good thing no matter what. Just put the weight aside. So with the group, you're in a safe spot, I felt. And then when I encouraged when other people started talking, then it was like, wow, I feel like that person. I feel like that person. Then I don't know. It just from people from, I live in Pennsylvania and there's people from all over the United States. So this is a common factor that we're all struggling with. Okay. So complete strangers, you might not ever actually even meet these people, but the beauty of reaching out and helping others in your journey and your crisis and your struggles, that in itself um is really satisfying, and that was a growth for me. One sentence of helping a person, and then in turn, it's amazing what a group can do.
It is. And I just listened to a podcast recently, and it helped me kind of solidify why I love groups, because it's almost like sometimes we don't know what our question is or what our struggle really is, but you hear
Uh-huh.
somebody else talk about it or get coached on it, and you're like, wait, that's exactly me. I know what my question is now. I know what I'm struggling with. And so that's what I think is such a beautiful thing about a group.
And
Yeah.
I also say one other thing, if I might.
Yeah.
I also feel that we've also, those of us, or I could speak for myself, struggled with the embarrassment and the weight struggles, um, and the silence of what we're struggling with so many different things. And to have somebody go out and say what you've been wanting to say for, it could be 10 years, that is like better than any therapy, because, just knowing that you have a safe place to chat about those kind of things. And it's a real thing. Over the years, I know that I've struggled with. So that's embracing as well.
Yeah. I love that. So tell everybody some of the results that you gained from the group, um, and and beyond. Like what has happened? What has transpired in your life now?
I mean, the number one thing, and I've always said this from the very beginning, is it's not really about, what you eat, and it's why. That my thing was the why I'm eating. And if I could be honest with myself and know that I'm eating out of emotion, and what to do with that. Okay. So, because that's like a fact, and that's something that we will always have in now and in the future, but what we do with it, and real concrete ideas of how to handle that. I think that that's like the biggest thing. So I think recognizing that, um, and just, I think the internal transformation for me of how I feel about myself, number one, never felt like this in my life. Um, Also help feeling encouraged, and also feeling that I have a great future where, come on, girls, you know how it is after one diet after another. It's pretty hopeless and it's sad. And sometimes as we get older, even, or medical reasons, or so many different things, or financial, what's, you, sometimes you kind of lose yourself and what you're capable of. And I've now can believe that these things are possible in due time. Believe me, nothing's easy, but in due time. And I didn't feel like that before. I think that's the biggest thing. And again, the internal change. If I don't change inside, I'm certainly not going to have the results outside. And that's way more important. That's what I've learned. Never realized that before.
Yeah. Um, so let's just finish it off. If there's something you really want women watching this to know, to understand, what would it be? What's one thing you would want to tell them?
Um, you don't know what you don't know. Like, I don't know how to say in words. I would never want to, you never want to push anybody to do anything or whatever, but I can say that I'm an example of a person that was broken in the self-esteem and weight loss, and in the habits that I've formed over my becoming a teenager, and then into adulthood, into all of my relationships. And this affects so much more than a pant size or that number on the scale. It affects every single part of your being. And if that's not worth a phone call, a curiosity, like I said, um, it's just so different. And I can't really even put it into words. Um, but it's just unreal. Like, I wish that I knew it probably 20 years ago, but my timing wasn't that I met Amanda. So my timing was now. And I'm just grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, one question I get asked a lot, especially on these discovery calls, is, how much weight can I lose in these 12 weeks? Like, how much can I lose? Now, you don't have to share how much you lost, but I love to let people understand that, like, what do you think is the driving factor to really losing the weight? Because you've lost a good amount of weight. So what do you think is the driving factor to really losing weight?
I think it's just going back to that mindset. We could all quickly lose weight, right? I could like drink shakes. I could, do this yo-yo keto, kato, up and down, everything under the sun. We could Google and figure out, we know what to eat. It's not sustainable. So you've got to have that backup foundation to support when things are not perfectly aligned. And I think that's the biggest thing that has been a change. I have struggles, I have emotions, I have issues. But now when it happens, I can dissect it and I can figure it out and I can react differently. Not every time. If I have 10 times that I'm going to react not so great years ago, now I have maybe 4 times that I react not so great. And that to me is a victory, just embracing every victory. The victories that we have inside are the most important. That's what we have. That's what God looks at. It's not all the out. It's not the outside.
It isn't. And sometimes we get just so caught up on the outside that we forget that the root of the problem is inside. It's what's going on inside. Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for being on here and sharing with these women. And I just want to let everybody know, if you're at all interested, sign up for a discovery call. Let's chat and just see if this is where God's leading you to next. All right. Thanks again, Wendy.
Thank you. Take care.